9th January. SS Buria, first class cabin, number 2. Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we did some exploring and talked to Sholmes and beef stroganoff. Now let's see what's going on in the next door cabin. Who are you? Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now. Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsley Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I am a great detective among great detectives, and who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So I might be so bold to ask you to open that small traveling case. Huh? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Hey, don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruto? Yes, that case just shook. Leave now. Otherwise, I'll call his steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimsley Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Yeah, let's look around your stuff. What? What are you doing there? I want to see this. What do you think you're doing? Huh? This is my cabin. Get out. Could we have a look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No. What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we could do. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Oh, so everything I can't click on. Oh, I can click on him. Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into your service. Oh! And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no actually. You're spot on, for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what his most effective weapon to use against Russian holding a secret? Why, the truth, of course. Though, it should be pointed out that such methods are not exactly for Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it?
Oh, yes, please.
Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Nice. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone.
That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and how dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment.
Shh! I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering into my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh. And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment, no less in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not?
Never would have thought. I'd never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes.
That was a great deduction?
Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person.
What? What ineffable twaddle.
Oh yes, I read about it countless times in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true!
I could hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. Still red and purple. It looks like somehow both Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Huh. This is new. Old man's identity. Conclusion. Oh. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question that begged is this. Why would you desire to rid rid of yourself of a magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper. In particular, the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In the translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. But you have different noses. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand? A revolutionary on the run. Aha. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. Huh? And the proof of this crime over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylett. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes astray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies with the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, you're not well suited to a life of crime, Arby. Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, a renowned prima ballerina of the Novavik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline could lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Kidnapping a young ballerina and put her in a suitcase. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' Great Deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemetsky.
Wow, what a genius!
Wow. Sato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it?
Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow.
Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions, would you mind? Not at all, go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at that time, I believe I told you that man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylett does look more like this man than you do.
That's not the point. Another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. First glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed it really hard.
I don't suppose the missing ballerina's a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I?
Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case.
Some years ago I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case.
Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
This whole thing's turning into a circus.
Mr. Naruhodo, something occurred to me about Mr. Holmes' deduction just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seemed a little off.
Your idea of little may be a little off itself, Miss Sato.
It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
Switch some keywords in his deductions?
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' Great Deduction.
Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Oh, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists?
Clink! Oh! Magic! Ah! Where are your handcuffs?
Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. I could swim.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel.
Don't worry. I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present the logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Old man's identity. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place? Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport.
I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
Doubt it's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though.
Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either.
Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong.
Let's try to switch a key word here, Naruhodo-san, and see if that helps matters.
Alright, but how?
I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott.
I wonder if it's really his beard that he intends to use those shears on.
Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' action better,
Then what?
then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san.
Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylett really going to use those enormous shears for? Aha! Golden locks. What the? What's this?
Looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks.
No. The color's not the point. The point is, what's it doing in the back of Mr. Roylett's head? How's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair?
Well, yes, that's true. So, stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising.
Something's definitely not right here. Now what? Present?
Yes!
You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Were you? Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all, you're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one's still very much in her youth.
Oh no!
If only I managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then, Bud, is this. Why would you desire to rid of yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that?
Yes, it was a surprise, Naruto-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Sorry?
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes.
I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. Baka. This is strictly business. Strictly come...
Yes, I understand. Say no more.
Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now.
No, that's true, given Mr. Roylett is actually a woman.
Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary.
I assume it's because the deduction, as a whole, has taken a different direction now.
Yes.
Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them.
For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes! Take that!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is of course the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novavic Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, but your true identity is that of Novavic Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova.
Ah! She almost died. Shing. You're right. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone.
ballerina on the run. Solved. So she murdered. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see.
Ah!
And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, the traveling case. This woman is a ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly, she can't be inside the traveling case as well.
No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. What an idiot.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can't see. I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. You like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it!
Anyway, there must be something else there that shows what this woman is up to. Oh, this thing. Tiara. The proof of your crime is the traveling... Wait, what? Oh. Wow! Look at this dazzling tiara.
I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, you think? Ah, Naruhodo-san, try it on.
What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful.
Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. In the newspaper. Yes! Oh, I meant to press present. Oh, whatever. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara.
Ah!
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovec Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in the newspaper article. And if reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft.
Oh no!
Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking their precious tiara with you.
Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me.
This girl is only 15 years old, and she's a runaway all by herself. Must have been extremely lonely.
Alright, I'll tell you everything. There's no point in hiding it now.
Come, let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains an unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused opening this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, We are not most suited to a life of crime, are we? Careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open up your case is written on the bookshelf. It's completely changed the tack with this deduction now.
I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into this? It's a wild guess, surely.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, it doesn't seem likely the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in the book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
And there needs to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree. That's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside the case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Was it the rules? Was there a no pet rule?
Yes!
Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from the carriage of this vessel, on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet? Your pet murdered him. Possession of a prohibited animal.
Off with her head.
Deduction complete. Elementary. So clearly you aren't who you said you were.
No, I'm not Grimsley Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet, to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out that scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Well, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me.
I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard Then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut off all my hair as fastly as possible, pick up the scissors in my hand, and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing?
There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case?
A snake.
You are right. It's my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Please don't tell anyone if the captain finds out, if you say it to any of the crew.
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you, but in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night.
Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruto, wasn't it something, Mr. Sholmes' Great Deduction?
It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. My...
No! Ah! Your hands are cuffed again! What? But how?
True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why?
I didn't do it. There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruto. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can it really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. Can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what that speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about the diary really was.
Yeah, I'll just talk to her first before examining. What happened last night? Do you know what? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh.
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night?
Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking?
Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on the board would have noticed if that had happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you could tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whatever they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh, I see. Running away. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovic the ballet?
Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life.
You wish to forget? A challenging proposition when you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novovic Ballet gives us only little food and water. and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of this ship, they all have been kind to me. They let me come on board and they said I could hide in this cabin.
If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruto?
Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation to what the conundrum. I'm not sure, but... Conundrum. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Buria stopped by no port last night. Sit, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard?
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when he mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something.
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Sorry? What was that?
It is how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is why I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel.
Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid.
Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Is it a snake? So your friend you mentioned inside your traveling case, is that right?
I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious...
Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt.
Ah!
So reassuring, Mr. Holmes.
So what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe an adorable little rabbit?
Nope.
Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may as well ask. I have no idea! You too are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken!
Really?
Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you eat your friends. So you eat your friends. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Cool. This is the diary of my friend who passed away.
His diary?
Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I could hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
A speckled band? I don't understand.
It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentioned joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together.
Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything.
Oh. Uh-oh. Excuse me, Mr. Roylet. So fast. Yes, but... Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. All right, I will come now. What? You must leave. Now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us.
Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylet.
Get out. The passenger said out. Or you want me to throw you out? It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later.
What a pity.
And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlola's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside.
Ow.
Alright, we'll continue this next time, so don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, or not. Thanks for watching. Bye.